Thank you all for coming to our DePIN panel. I think DePIN is one of the most exciting topics, especially during the past 1 year, I would say. And last year, 1 year ago, the first Web3 festival in Hong Kong, we also had a DePIN day here and see more and more attractive for DePIN topics compared to last year. And so we are very happy to invite you guys here at the panel. And so the panel is pretty interesting for me. We have two panelists. You can see one is from the western side, one is from eastern side. And another difference is, Sal, I think I would say you are most from the Web3 native side. And Avi has more than 10 years experience.
AIoT side, yeah.
Industry, right? So more from, let's say, Web2 or traditional IoT industry. But Avi has joined Web3 during the past 1 year. So it's kind of a very interesting mix of our guest speakers. So I think you guys all heard their presentations. And then I have several questions to ask our panelists. And first one, I would say let's say for Avi. You are from, I said you are from IoT industry, AIoT industry. And now DePIN has more and more awareness. But when I talk to different people, especially people inside or outside Web3 community, they always ask, what is DePIN? Why DePIN is important? And what is the core value of DePIN? Do you have any ideas on that if someone asks you that question?
Okay, that's a very good question. Because I have observing the AIoT field for more than a decade. And after communication with lots of entrepreneurs, I think I could share some of my opinions here to answer the value of DePIN for the physical world or for AIoT. I think first and foremost, the DePIN's core value is to transform and revolutionize how AIoT is building. And DePIN is providing a more effective and more open and resilient infrastructure. Unlike with the traditional infrastructure building method, DePIN provides a bottom-up approach to build these networks. And with real-world sensors, with artificial intelligence and lots of other blockchain technologies, DePIN's method is very effective and decentralized. With DePIN's incentive, everyone can involve in this building process and get reward. And another value we should consider is the perfect timing of DePIN. As you know, the whole world, we are experiencing a new round of globalization. And this globalization is very special because the trade barriers between different regions is increasingly prevalent. So in this special context, I think DePIN could provide special value here use this innovation model. DePIN empowers individuals and communities to participate in the creation and maintenance phase of these networks and build a more inclusive and collaborative ecosystem. So I think both of these are the values of DePIN. DePIN is transforming our methodology of building the physical world, and the timing is very good for DePIN. So that's why I'm passionate in this field and building a new venture capital firm to invest in this DePIN track. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Avi. And actually, I have two very challenging questions for yourself. I think in one of the slides, you mentioned island economy. So we are currently in Hong Kong Island. And you mentioned that Hong Kong Island and some other islands. So I do understand that DePIN could help these undeveloped countries or islands because we can use tokenomics to raising funds for the infrastructure development there. But how about Hong Kong, Singapore, these well-developed islands or countries or regions, cities, how we can benefit from DePIN? The reason why I'm asking this is that I still remember last year I have conversation with some folks, traditional folks, or even from the government in Hong Kong, say what is happening in the Web3 adoption from South America, some other smaller cities. These people say to me that we Hong Kong people, or government, not government, like people, I think similar happens in Singapore. We don't care what is happening in these countries. I think they really care about what is happening in the developed countries, like what US, what UK, what European countries do. So can you tell them what DePIN can help Hong Kong and Singapore?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good question, a tough one. I think my point on the slide was sort of that, I think Hong Kong and Singapore are both like shining examples of what islands can be, because they both had these idiosyncratic, like historical reasons why there was a lot of investment into these economies. But in terms of for underdeveloped islands, they can build core infrastructure, internet, energy. For islands like Hong Kong and Singapore, I think the key is like you can be first to the next generation of DePIN for enabling services that don't exist today. So the main one being AI, edge compute use cases. I think there's a lot of very interesting use cases around logistics, around both, for example, sidewalk delivery robots, around like drones and drone detection and drone rights and landing that DePIN entrepreneurs are experimenting with. The other major category that is really emerging today with DePIN is healthcare and wearables-related technologies. There's now a lot of the evolving of like the form factors of wearables. They've become much easier to wear. The privacy, we can now sort of have very like private, compliant, and performance off-chain data storage solutions for healthcare data. And so we expect to see a proliferation of like smart rings, of patches, necklaces, wristbands, beds, other sorts of like health devices that I think can be, something that is a net new service even for people that live in highly developed economies like Hong Kong, where the internet and the energy and everything else is highly reliable. But we still don't have these, next generation sort of like coordination technologies, specifically in healthcare and logistics, that I think will sort of like drive the way forward in some of these more developed economies.
Yeah, so that's a very good answer to me. And so next time when I meet them, I can say most of the DePIN projects you are thinking of right now is built for existing infrastructures, but there is a lot more DePIN projects that built for future infrastructures. Hong Kong, and exactly Hong Kong, you need to be in the age of this new technology. It should be at the showcase of what is DePIN is really talking about. And the next question is also for you. And I think I remember there is a slide that go over pretty quick, like 2 or 3 seconds. It's kind of how in that slide you have mentioned what DePIN projects can implement in the smart city project, in the smart city. So Wanxiang Group, our group is a very traditional manufacturing company, which has more than 15 years history already. We are planning smart city projects in Hangzhou, like 1 hour train from Shanghai. So Wanxiang is in that city. We are trying to producing EV batteries or EV cars, and also we are building the R&D centers and also building innovation centers for different industrial technology, but also like fintech technology, Web3 technology over there. So my question would be, if we are trying to build a new smart city based on industrial needs, industrial factories, what we can implement DePIN projects, or how Web3 DePIN projects could help us to build the next generation of smart city?
It's a really good question, and I'm very happy to see both Wanxiang and other groups sort of like having these smart city initiatives and investing in having places where DePIN entrepreneurs can showcase their products early on. I think all the core sort of infrastructure services can be built in DePIN, and the secret of DePIN is having incentives and being aligned with early on. So I guess the question would be like, how do you find the entrepreneurs who are going to build the core infrastructure for the smart city? And probably they're going to demand some economics or some sort of incentive alignment with the networks that you want them to build. And so I think the secret of DePIN is like, I'm assuming you'll run some fiber lines to the smart city, and then you will need a lot of radios to propagate the internet connectivity throughout them. And you can use DePIN to incentivize where people place those radios. The same thing goes with the batteries that you were mentioned, or EV chargers. there's a lot of work around, specifically around industrial manufacturing and sort of like tracking and logistics that Helium has been working on for many years now, but is finally like ready to be used, I think, in really large scale deployments around just like how do you localize everything inside a factory and make smarter decisions. And lastly, like once you have citizens living there, think more consumer-centric devices like Demo with when you have people with cars and more of these health devices. I think when you can create a vision of sort of a brand new city and get DePIN entrepreneurs to come and build next-gen technologies there, they're always going to surprise you with the sorts of like very exciting things they can bring.
Yeah, that give me a very interesting point that we can bring all of our DePIN projects came to Hangzhou and we can have like seminar, see how existing DePIN projects or the future DePIN projects we are building on, how we can like combine these two worlds together. And then that will lead to another question for Avi. You have more than a decade of experience in the AIoT industry. I know many IoT companies or startups, they are really suffering during the past few years. And definitely there are a lot of problems, or like business model problem, monetized problem in the IoT industry. And what are the challenges about the IoT industry right now, and what Web3 or tokenomics or DePIN can bring new opportunities to them? Or any suggestions for these existing IoT industries, how they can get into Web3, why they need to get into Web3, what's the opportunity in Web3 for them?
Yeah, exactly. The IoT field has many challenges because they are, if you see the key value and the deepest value of AIoT, actually is it could transform the business models and transform how we sell the devices. That's the core value of AIoT, but it's not very easy. For example, the prime example of this business model is equipment as a service that we transfer from sales product to sales services. Many companies are trying to adopt of this new business model, but they feel the finance indicators may be hurt at first, and they have long time for the improvement. So I have searched some data here. According to a IoT research firm that they published a report on 2024 to 2028 equipment and service market. It shows that market hit $21 billion US, but the uptake like expectation over 4 years. In 2023, less than 1% of device sales are use this new service contract instead of use this sales contract of devices. So there's lots of reasons hinder this progress. I think DePIN could help a lot here because firstly, DePIN can reduce the cost of the service contract as the companies can use shared resources to build their service networks. And with the ecosystem and DePIN incentives, every player can share a common standard to build this service contract, and a more stronger and more scalable infrastructure will be help to this business model transformation. Yeah, I think that's the value DePIN can do a lot in the AIoT business models. And from the other aspect, actually, I wanted to share that DePIN AIoT also provide new opportunities for DePIN. And actually, I think DePIN can learn about from the AIoT projects and companies. Because there are some similarities between DePIN and AIoT. Both of them rely on the technology advances, and both of them provide connected devices and empowering users. And there are lots of similarities. So as I have mentioned, the number of DePIN projects is skyrocketed to 1,000. Actually, IoT field, we have experienced a similar situation. In 2017, there are 450 AIoT platforms, And in 2021, there are 1,600 AIoT platforms with very similar numbers and situations. But after that, the number of AIoT platforms is decreasing, and for now, about 1/3 of this platform is disappear. So I think as the market matures, there are the AIoT is transforming from rapid growth to a steadier growth, and only the projects that have true value will cross this business cycle. So it's reasonable for now if we pay attention to the groundwork of DePIN that in this current cycle, I think it makes strategic sense.
Yeah. So you mentioned you spend a lot of time in IoT, and also you living in Shenzhen for a long while. And I never been to Huaqiangbei because there is kind of all kinds of smart devices or smart IoT devices over there. So I had an idea that probably one day we need to go to Huaqiangbei and see what kind of how IoT devices, smart devices there can combine with Web3, with tokenomics. So my question would be for Avid that, what do you think, what kind of existing AIoT projects or hardware devices are most suitable for convert to Web3?
Yeah, that's a very good question. For the projects that involve large scale and decentralized devices and sensors, that's definitely the prime candidate for Web3 usage. For example, the smart city incentives and the industrial Internet of Things applications. That will be the tier 1 application of AIoT transform to DePIN. And then if the projects that incentivize user engagement that should match with the ethos of Web3, for example, like Helium, like Demo, lots of these projects, they trigger the target audience, target users to involve in this infrastructure construction. And if we consider the projects that require high transparency and high trust, I think that it also could benefit most from the Web3 technology, like the supply chain management system and the healthcare data sharing networks. Yeah, I think that could these three can maybe the best fit from AIoT to DePIN. Yeah.
I know that someone is organizing a trip to Shenzhen on April 10th. So I will figure out who is organizing that, and let all you guys know the details of the trip. I think that trip will be interesting to see the devices of the ecosystem in Shenzhen or in the whole Guangdong area, and also go into the factories, see what is happening there. So that would be pretty helpful for our DePIN project, our DePIN startups. And the last question, because the time is almost up, so I will make the question pretty quick. You mentioned there is like more than 1,000 startups or entrepreneurs working on DePIN projects, and you invest more than like 20 projects already. So give us 3 words about the top 3, the 3 projects you are most excited about. Only 3.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
So I mentioned the Smart Ring project. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I think so. On the wearable side, or I think smart rings are really interesting. We invested in a company that's sort of like very far thinking out there in the health wearable space, that's building a headband that can both measure your brain signals and do neuroelectromagnetic stimulation. And they're trying to create a model whereby they can induce you to lucid dream. Basically, like, you know, you realize that you're awake while you're sleeping. And then communicate, once you're able to like know that you're sleeping and you have this headband on, you can sort of have like 2-way in and out communication with your brain. So I think this is something that will take many years to build, but we're very excited to sort of like see this take hold in a DePIN-centric way. The other one that I'm very excited about is a project building a decentralized manufacturing network on top of 3D printers. They've connected 50,000 3D printers around the world, and the vision is sort of like anyone. Instead of ordering something and maybe it comes from Shenzhen and it goes all the way to California, you order it from a 3D printer in San Francisco and you ship it to LA, and it saves on makes it much more sustainable. It saves on shipping time and costs, and sort of engenders these local manufacturing communities with each other. So those are two of the projects that we've invested in recently that I'm super excited to see the potential of them.
Great, sure, thank you. And my last comment will be, so we are all excited about DePIN projects. And last year for Future 3 Campus, which is initiated by Wanxiang Blockchain Labs and also Hashkey Capital, we have a DePIN camp last summer. So at that time, still like people not know much about DePIN, but now it's getting more and more exciting about DePIN. And we are going to announce our new DePIN camp. So if you guys, any like DePIN entrepreneur startups is interested in working with us, please come to me or come to our booth at Future 3 Campus over there. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
For the
Thank
panel.
you.
Thank you.